All right, Shalom. Kahalayam La Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua Bahashim Rakakwadash, which is the Paleo Hebrew, the Lashon Kwadash, the Holy Tongue, for the one true name of the Heavenly Father being Yahweh, and that of the Messiah, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus, being Yahushai. Those are the only names given among man whereby ye may be saved, point blank period, as it is written, Acts 4 and 12. I'd like to give double honors unto the elders and the apostles at GMS Great Millstone, who have come of this truth, the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, and who do rule well today. All right. Sincere peace, love, blessings, salutations unto all those of you hopeful, faithful, potential members of the elect who are able to receive these things that are needful for salvation. As we're fulfilling prophecy, waking back up to who we are, proclaiming our pedigrees, right? The light has returned to the earth, man, as prophesied, allowing us to see the lies, right? Allowing us to see who the wicked is, man, which Christian prophecy always had told us that the spiritual demon Satan was going to get up and cause the whole world to worship him, right? Going to the book of 2 Thessalonians, right? He that would sit in the throne of God and be worshipped as if he was God, right? Christian prophecy told us that this was the spiritual demon Satan, man, or would be the spiritual demon Satan, right? How he'd cause the whole world to take a mark. But now, as prophecies unfolding, we're beginning to see who this truly is, man, who the wicked truly is, who this beast is. And the beast is, right, it's the physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan, man. It's this governmental beast system over the earth. When we go into the prophecies of Daniel, right, when we go into Revelation, the 13th chapter, right, it uses beasts to describe these different nations. The book of Proverbs even tells us that mankind are beasts, man. All right, but oftentimes in prophecy, beasts are used to describe or to represent, a nation while it's in power. Okay, and this particular beast that would cause the whole world to worship it, to bow down to it, right? And it's controlling counterpart, if you will, being the whore that sits upon this beast, man. All right, if she's riding it, then she's in control of it, right? Which we're going to go ahead and grab all this, right? But I say this because I wanted to grab this in the book of 1 Maccabees, the 8th chapter, which this clearly shows, right? This clearly shows who this beast is, who it would be in these last days, right? And a recent act that really proves this is what took place in Venezuela, man, with their president Maduro, taking him into custody, and and then the thing with the oil, right, and just everything that Babylon has done, right, or this beast has done to take control in this planet, man. All right, but here you see I have 1 Maccabees chapter 8 and verse 11 pulled up. It says, it was told him besides how they destroyed and brought under their dominion all kingdoms and isles, all right, being islands, that at any time resisted them, right? So this is what this, original beast, the initial beast prophesied in the book of Revelation that we'll grab, right? Daniel speaks about this beast, right? The book of Revelation telling us that it would be wounded but yet live, right? And in the last days bring all nations under his feet, just as he did, right, while he was in the power as the former beast, right? But let's go ahead and continue. It says, verse 12, it says, but with their friends and such as relied upon them, they kept amity, and that they had conquered kingdoms both far and nigh, insomuch as all that heard of their name were afraid of them. Showing you how, right, the beast was once worshipped, man. Right, these nations bowing down to this beast. Right, which again, we'll go ahead and grab this in the book of Revelation, so it'll come together and make sense, right? But going on, it says verse 13, also that that whom they would help to a kingdom, those reign, and to whom they displace. Finally, that they were greatly exalted, so they would put whoever they wanted in power, right? Even though you have this heathen nation ruling, right, or this other nation ruling, right, other than them, right? Once they conquer them, what do, man? They remove the king and they put a successor up. They put somebody else up who they want in their place, right? So they make all these strategic moves, setting up the chess table, if you will, so it works in their favor, right? Verse 14, it says, yet, and that's why I continue to say, right, finally, that they were greatly exalted. So they set everything up to exalt themselves, man, to be the power of the earth. And now you have this current power over the earth who's done this, man. And so this allows us to see who the wicked is. This allows us to see who the Edomites are, man, who will be prophesied to be in this rule, right? As is prophesied in the book of Isaiah, man. Who's Yahweh Shai coming back for? Who's he starting with when it comes to removing the wicked rulership? Right? Dyed garments from Basra, right? Edom. Going on, it says, verse 14, yet for all this, none of them wore a crown or was clothed in purple to be magnified thereby, right? This is the first, this beast is unlike any other beast, man, right? The Edomite beast. Because when this beast came into power, what it didn't set up a king, right? It set up a different type of governing system, right? Where they have presidents and they have, right, a Senate house, right? Where you have the illusion of, this person being for the people and this person's voice is for the people collectively, bringing them all together to make large decisions on behalf of the people, right? But really, you still have the same person in power, man, right? Being Esau at the end of the day, right? Specifically their elites, right? But anyway, that's another topic for another time. The point being here, right, is this allows you to see who the beast is that it's speaking of, man. These small acts, or these large acts, right, as they called it, a large scale act, a large scale operation, right, was carried out against Venezuela. Well, this shows you, man, they go over there and they set things up for it to be allowed to work in their favor. Right now, due to this president, right, they were able to use that as their excuse to get in there and take control and take, oil rights and take the riches from this land, even though they don't really have any riches, man. Right? And they're already in that position because of Esau, right? Nonetheless, let me go ahead and jump to the book of Revelation, right? We could grab many scriptures to kind of, show this too. One that comes to mind before I go to Revelation 13, we'll go to Job chapter 9 and verse 24, which we're all familiar with for the most part. It says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Right? So who is it, man? Who is it? The earth's been given into the hand of the wicked. So those who are in control, that shows you who the wicked is, man. Right? He has the power and has done what with his power? He's covered the faces of the judges thereof. He's covered what true judgment looks like. We've been lied to, man. We've been deceived, as I spoke earlier, right? When I opened up the lesson through the Spirit, man. What did I say? Something along the lines of, the elect being woken up to these lies, man. Being woken up to the deceit that we've been given, right? Going on, it says, if not, where and who is he? Right? So there's a question now, man. Who is it? If it's not Esau, who's clearly in power, right? If it's not I'll just come out and say it, that beast, right, would be America and America's beast, if you will. You got this Edomite power structure that you have today, man. Right? The whore that rides upon this beast as it's in control is going to be America, right? And that beast would represent its counterparts, America, the NATO, and the EU, right? Going through and carrying out Esau's plans, right? Altogether, because at the end of the day, the elites are the hidden face behind it all, man. Right? But these nations are the ones who, are being used for their power to carry these things out. Right? But let's go ahead and jump now to the book of Revelation. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 13. And let's see, we'll go ahead and jump down to which this whole chapter is pretty much fire, but we'll go ahead and jump down to verse. Well, we'll run it back to verse 10. It says, "He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity, and he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints." This is what keeps the saints patient and faithful, man, knowing that there will be consequences and repercussions for the actions, right, that are done upon this earth, for the bully of this earth, if you will. That's been, clearly Esau, the thief come not to kill, the thief come to kill, steal, and destroy, man, and that's what he's done on this earth, right? All his great wicked acts, his wicked atrocities that he's done. Going on, verse 11. "And I beheld another beast coming out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him," right? So there was a beast before him that was in power, man. And again, this beast would be the Roman government, right? If you read the book of Revelation, you'll understand, right, that it's a very political book, man. It's speaking of the Romans and their governing system, right, throughout it, right, and how there's going to be, a new governing beast over the earth in the last days, right? So seeing who's in power allows us to see who it is, and they would mimic the foundation of the Roman power structure, right, which again we see here in America. It says, "And causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed," right? And it was wounded in 70 AD when it fell. But now it came back into power, right? This only makes sense, right? That was the governing system that was in place during the time of the Messiah, during the time of Yahushua. Those who had the power to crucify him and did, right? Even though Pontius Pilate tried to, put it on the Hebrews, which, they're going to pay to, right? The ones that were responsible for that. But nonetheless, the Romans were the ones in power, man. Right? What did he say? The kingdom of heaven is taken by force and suffereth. Right? The kingdom is in the hands of the heathens, man. The earth is in the hands of the heathens. And at that time, the heathens who were in power were the Edomites, and they were going under the name of the Roman government. All right? So yes, this book clearly speaks about that governing system. The word salvation means the deliverance of the molestation of thine enemies. We had our enemies upon us, man, taxing us, getting rich off of us, just like we were then scattered into all nations and doing the same thing in all of these nations, man. Right? All of these nations where people were suffering, right? Slaving, fighting in wars. Right? This is all the Israelites, man. And now they're waking up to the spirit and prophecy, spirit and power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, hearing the words of prophecy, right? And now we're approaching the time of what? The final victory, man. The final victory over these Edomites. Even though they think they've moved the pieces on the chess table to work in their favor, as I mentioned earlier. But that's why it's going to take, it's going to take the Lord to deliver us from this, man. We don't have the power to make moves on, Esau's chess table. Hey, but the Most High is in control of it all, man. And he's going to let that be known when he allows us to be victorious over this damn devil, man. Verse 13, it says, and that's why we don't get all bent out of shape when he makes these moves, and we're able to examine them, right, and see them for what they really are, man. And we're able to see the bigger picture of what he's doing here. It's not just him removing some president because he was cruel to the people, right, or whatever the case may be, whatever it may be that you're being told, man. But anyway, going on verse 13, it says, and he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, right? So this guy has power, man. Esau has power, right? And he also has thermonuclear power, right? In which he obtained the kingdom by that, man. Right? That's how he won World War II. Right? And that's how he's going to be destroyed ultimately as well, which is another topic for another time. But let's go ahead and continue. Verse 14. It says, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles, which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and yet did live. And again, Christianity would teach us that this was, an actual image, right? Some satanic image or something, right? But really, this is you gotta not be so damn stupid when you look at it, man. Who the hell's gonna go worship a statue, man? We are living in a highly technological age, man. We got AI. Who the hell's gonna go worship a damn statue? This is not ancient Babylon, right, where they set up that giant image and Nebuchadnezzar made them bow to it, man. No, this image it's ultimately, right, the imagery of Esau, man. Right? Not no physical image so much, but right, the image and visage of it, man. Sin, ultimately. Right? Go ahead and look that word up in the Hebrew that they use here. Use Strong's Concordance, right? And it's gonna give you the breakdowns of what the word image means. Right? They're not gonna go set up a giant statue of maybe Donald Trump. They're not gonna go set up that white Christ. They already have that set up everywhere. You see? So let's go ahead and continue. That they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by the sword and yet did live. So, again, it came back into power here in Babylon, man. Verse 15, it says, and he had power to give life to the image of the beasts, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So now, this is showing, right, this beast coming into a full-fledged state of power, which, it's going to go ahead and do by in the next verse, it's going to describe it by pushing forth the charagma, man. The sea hip, right? And that's ultimately going to solidify if you're going to worship it or not. If you go into that word worship in the Strong's Concordance as well, it goes into the likeness of a dog licking its master's fingertips, man. Right? That's the state that you're trying to be put in, worshiping Esau. Ultimately, Esau is trying to make you worship him, his beast imagery, right, by you taking this charagma described here in the next verse, verse 16. It says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell. So this mark is going to hinder you from buying or selling, showing you that it's going to be tied to, whatever economical system is set up in this time, right? And this was prophesied, the elders are out there prophesying this, back before, credit cards were even being used, man. It was just cash. Right? So slowly but surely, we've seen prophecy unfold. Now you have the CHIP on your card, whether you like it or not. So it wouldn't be hard for them to transfer that technology to your hand or your forehead, which they already have in a lot of cases, right? Which we've done, various videos on. You see? And not only that, but if they're going to bring forth this chaos, right? If this American dollar is going to fall, which it's rapidly falling, then they're going to have to restore the world's economy in one way or another. Right? So through all this chaos, he's going to establish a new order, right? His one world order, ultimately. And that's going to be centered around this mark, man, this charagma. You given this digital ID, right, entering into this digital age. And you can't buy or sell or be part of this new age without it, man. Right? So going on, it says, or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Verse 18, here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man's. You see, so it's a number of a man. It's not a number of a spirit. It's a number of a man. You see, this the physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan is man. And not any man, but the Edomite man. Go finish it off. It says, and his number is 666, which is 666. So with that being said, man, Lord willing, this is edifying. I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. Call Layim La Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua Bahashim Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles at GMS Grand Millstone, and a sincere peace, love, blessing, salutations unto all those of you hopeful, faithful, potential members of the elect out there doing the best to make the calling of your election sure. Shalom, Abba, Abba.